Recording. Hello, hello, hello. This is G. Welcome, welcome. You're watching Allastrology. And this is the part 4 of our Pluto in Aquarius series, but it also covers the north and the south nodes. So, in essence, this is part 4 for the Cancer energy in your chart. You've got a chart that's got 12 signs. Go find Cancer energy. What house is it sitting in? Even if you are a Cancer moon, a Cancer ascendant, or a Cancer sun, great. But for those of you who don't have one of those three main themes, you still have Cancer energy, 30 degrees of it. We all do. So this whole series will allow you to look at your entire chart by listening for each of the videos, because each video talks about a particular sign. So this one is for the Cancer energy in your chart, and it will cover Pluto and its angle, its conversation, the kind of communications it's having with the Cancer area of your chart for the next 18 years. For the next 18 years and the next 18 months. I know the number 18, crazy, but the next 18 months with the north and the south nodes. Right? So, with that said, Cancer, for the next 18 years, the Cancer energy in your chart and the communication, the kind of conversations that is occurring with group energy, with friends, social causes, with your individuality, right? With your friends that are super unique and different and on the edge and out there and maybe a little bit on the rebelliousness side. This covers technology. This covers anything online because it's the internet, it's inventions, it's science, it's intellectual creativity at its finest. That's Aquarius energy. Pluto being there means it's going to change the way that looks. It's going to change Aquarian energy. Now, in relationship for the Cancer energy in your chart, in my chart, in all of our charts, it is uncomfortable. It creates a quincunx angle, which is there's a little bit of some irritation and agitation there. I'm not comfortable with it. Maybe I'm being stretched beyond my comfort zone. There might be a little bit of that. But at the same time, it is asking me and you and all of us to embrace something different and new, something that is unconventional. And it's embracing the idea that I know I might be a little uncomfortable with different and new and something that I've never experienced before. And that's a human trait, right? For sure. It's a human trait. But the thing is, because it's in Cancer and because this is what we're discussing is that angle to Cancer, we have to kind of also remember that Cancer energy, it represents not just home and family and my feelings and my emotions and mom and literally homes like where I live, but it's also the public because the moon is the ruler of this sign. So we think of the public in general and what the public will be faced with for the next 18 years. So that irritation and agitation is usually enough to, it's almost like, when you have an itch, it's not necessarily painful, but it's irritating as hell. And when does it finally stop? When you actually itch it. Right? You got to get up against a wall, or you got to have somebody comes along. Can you scratch my back? Or you find like your ruler and you're like, it's right here. It's right there. You're trying to get at it, right? The point is you feel like you have to do something. And that will kind of be the way this occurs for the next 18 months. There will be something, whether it's a subtle choice, a decision. Definitely communications and friends is huge because it's Aquarius. This is group energy, right? Remember, online and the internet and vlogging and blogging, this is all part of that. And Aquarius is typically about social causes, civil liberties, it's global events, world events, it's the house of the humanitarian, pretty sure I said that, but it's science, space, the unknown, right? We think of aliens, we think of, just all these sci-fi things that what maybe we've heard people talk about experiences. Maybe maybe our only connection with is with Hollywood and sci-fi and movies. That's a possibility. But with this uncomfortableness, um, sometimes the imagination of the public can actually be a little bit more colorful and maybe even a little bit more dramatic. But something about individuality and individual power is going to be strong here and may feel uncomfortable because it can be an authority figure like a boss at the job or a mom and dad, someone who's got authority in your life, someone who's somehow in charge over you, someone who will exert their power in some way with Cancer energy because that Aquarius stuff and Pluto being there, it's transforming and changing group energy. And it's not just group energy by itself, but literally like thought mentality. So we think back in time because we have to remember Saturn is the ancient ruler of Aquarius. So we think Saturn and Uranus now, right? And the communication with the moon, Cancer energy, and Saturn and Uranus. Yeah, right? So in one way, we're like, oh, but the moon and Saturn, they're in opposition. That's a push-pull energy. And you're right. You're right. It's a battle for power. Who will reign supreme type of thing, right? But then Uranus is there and it says we're going to do something that hasn't been done. And Uranus in the individual power, it can also add power to group energy. So the theme here for the next 18 years, other than the rise of unions, because Aquarius can increase the power of authoritarians and individual power, individuals in power, individuals who demand supreme power, even, right? Well, how do you combat that? It's really the public, it's the people understanding that within their unity and with them unifying, then they actually have the power as opposed to, the king, which if you're not in a country that has a king, right? Like, oh, I don't know, the United States, we're supposed to be a democracy and not have a king. Um, the people just have to get their shit together, and realize, see the bigger picture of the divisiveness and how, those with the money, those with the power, those with the extreme wealth, they see real clearly that when the masses, the large quantity of people who don't have the money, right? But yet when they unify, that dictates policy. The trick is don't let them know that. Don't let them believe it. Don't let them think it. Keep them squabbling. Keep them fighting for the breadcrumbs and for the scraps. This is history. This is history, but does it sound like today, right? And maybe that's an exaggerate. Maybe that's a little dramatized, right? Maybe just a little bit. But hopefully we don't go there. And that's the thing. So a little bit of some uncomfortable irritation with Pluto energy and Aquarius and friends and group energy. So whether you have friends that create that stress for you, or whether you are uncomfortable because you feel as though you're having to make choices with things that you've just never done before, or maybe it's just simply technology within itself. It could be. It could be. So, yeah, the thing I like about this, though, is it pushes us, some would say, beyond our comfort zone. And another way of saying it is expand your comfort zone. Go beyond, right? See beyond the boundary. Even if you can't literally see it, at least feel beyond the boundary and inch yourself a little bit at a time and realize you're not going to fall off the edge. Yeah, you're not going to fall off the edge. You just have to be willing to explore and experiment, which is the power of Aquarius energy, Pluto and Aquarius. Okay. So this gives you that ability to know in advance, to go and explore, to, um, to use some of the other support, which you're going to have. Pisces energy for the next 18 months anyway, Pisces will be very supportive for you. It will provide a trine energy to the Cancer energy in your chart. or your sun or your moon or your ascendant, whoever you are listening. The thing is, with the Pisces there in the North Node and it creating a nice trine energy, this can be institutional support for people who, whether it's government assistance, people who are disabled, people who are on Social Security, it will provide that support, right? It can also be prayer. It can also be religion, right? We think of people of the cloth. We also think of movies and fantasy and Calgon, take me away. I need an escape. Water energy provides an ease and a trine energy. So it's like that ease and that trine energy, you can kind of weave that in where there's that moment of restriction and uncomfortableness from the Pluto and Aquarius. You can find ease with the water. You can find comfort in the water in the sense that it's water trining water, right? And so there's little moments of where I'm emotionally secure and stable. Remember, Cancer represents home and family, but my inner home, my inner security, right? Not just the physical sticks and the bricks type of thing or wherever it is you live. Um, that water and that abundance of it and the feeling and the sensitivities will for sure increase because it's the North Node in Pisces. So it brings about also, I've written a lot of notes here. It also brings about a lot of, um, it brings about some belief and understanding and the ability to have possibly some acceptance and even possibly some forgiveness. So Pisces is known also to like wave the flag, to the flag of the white flag of surrender. These are just traits of Pisces, okay? It also can, be big on I got to escape too. So I'm either some surrender, but then some go AWOL. Like these are all Pisces keywords. Pisces does not want to fight. Right? You see? So either escape or go AWOL. Like there's lots of options or some, yeah, because if you escape and get caught, well, then you end up in prison. That is also Pisces too, right? So let's see, public figures, politicians, anytime in prison, that's like always popping in my head because there's always that crazy ass threat that they throw around at each other all the time, people in public office and stuff. The battle they got to keep raging for the little people, the show must go on type of thing, I guess. But preachy. It can also kind of get preachy, even though Pisces enjoys solitude and time alone, the water, dolphins, like that's all Pisces stuff. But there can be a time where it's using the Jupiter side of Pisces, which is the speech and the sharing, right? And it will it will come about in a way where it sounds like it knows the truth. Like it's seen the truth, it knows the truth, therefore this is the truth. So we just kind of be cautious because at times Pisces can be a little, it can it can be a little unrealistic. It's fantasy and sci-fi and movies in Hollywood. Like that's Pisces. It's your every dream come true is Pisces. So we always had to kind of double check and to make sure we're being realistic. And that's where the South Node for the next 18 months comes into play for you. I love this actually. I mean, you only have a little bit of that uncomfortableness from Pluto with Aquarius so far. And it's not a bad uncomfortableness because it can teach you and teach us, especially me, and the core in the Cancer energy in my chart to understand it's not about, it's just think of it as I'm expanding what my comfort zone is by experimentation. Like a scientist would experiment, right? We don't know for certain that this will work. We don't know for certain that this is the truth. We don't know anything for certain other than freaking death and taxes, right? That's all we really truly know for certain. But if we're willing to give something a shot and a try and hold it in our mind, we're just experimenting. We're going to see where it takes us. I think there can be a lot of success with this. It can also help us to detach a little bit because that's Aquarius too. It says, don't get so focused on the results. The whole part, the whole journey, yeah, the whole journey, the whole process of living is life. And life itself is not stagnant. It is this constantly ever changing organic thing. So when we don't hold so tightly onto the product, the result, it allows whatever the results are to come through and then to be seen. So we detach from what the result actually is. We just focus really hard on the journey, doing the best we can whenever we can with what we've got. And of course, optimism and whatever it is that wakes you up in the morning, keeps you going throughout your day. So with that, it is the south node in Virgo, Earth. South node in Virgo, the Earth. This is actually some beneficial energy to Cancer energy. It's only 60 degrees away, only 60 degrees away. Hello? Where did that come from? 60 degrees away. So this is what we call a sextile energy. All right. And so with that sextile to the Cancer, it's not irritating, it's not agitating, it's not stress and tension. There's some ease. It's not trine where it just easily happens like the water energy, but there is some ease that it provides. Okay. And it's earth, which can help you to keep the immense water where it's the feel good energy for you. And remember that immense water and escape can be substances. You're right. We got to escape. How do we escape? Some smoke something, some drink something, some just go read a good book, some go write a good book, some go listen to music, some create music. Pisces, water energy. When you hear me say water, super creative energy. Use a healthy creative outlet for your inner peace and stability and your way to get away without doing harm to yourself. Like that's the goal, right? We don't want to do crazy shit and end up making really bad choices under the influence of something and then making shit even worse by somehow ending up, I don't know, in trouble. We don't want to go there. So you take the same energy. The question is, with your free will, what will you do with it? Out of the bucket of options that you have and those choices and those words that I've listed, which one will you choose to use that creative energy or that escapism energy? Will you watch a movie or will you go grab a bottle? Will you go listen to some music or will you grab a guitar? Or will you grab a flute? Will you grab a harmonica, right? Will you feel like you need to be into the escape into the water and just go take a bath, right? Or do you go dive into the ocean from off of the side of the boat because you're just like, I just feel like I need this, and then God forbid, right? So there's lots of different examples, but it's the same use of the same energy, and the difference in how it expressed and showed up was your free will being a part of it. Your ability to choose from the options of the energy that was present, which is what I call your tools, the energy that's present. So with the beneficial earth energy, this is with the details. This is with health. This is day-to-day routines, tasks, projects, staying organized, clean, taking care of my food and my gut health. Remember the gut being the first brain of the body, right? And finding out that when the gut's healthy, when my stomach's doing good, when I'm feeding it good food, even if it's not expensive food, right? There are cheap ways, even though they might not be real glamorous or super de-duper appetizing. How many people like anchovies and sardines, right? You usually hear everybody go for canned tuna, but there's lots of different options where it doesn't, where we can at least feel like we have more options. How's that? Feel like we have more options. There's a lot of alternative grant. Anyway, I'm not a health or a science. This is not my field of profession. Definitely astrology is my strong suit, but I'm trying to give you different ideas of how we can take care of our health. And Virgo wants to be active, but it's not like punching bag, kickboxing active. It's more like walking and yoga or getting massages, right? And Reiki. It's alternative modalities, seeing a chiropractor, just doing different things where they're not so strenuous on the body, yet they can challenge the body in some way, and they are more harmonious, right? It's more of a holistic thing with the body. Herbs, right? Incense, stones, like that's all that is, gardening, like that is all Virgo stuff. Okay. So that's where you get some of the balance and where you're staying grounded for the next 18 months when you're looking up Virgo keywords. So that's kind of your ticket of stability where you feel like, to stay balanced in choices, decisions, and options, especially when you have the benefit of the water of the North Node in Pisces for the next 18 months. Fantasy, creation, creative energy, sound, sensitivities, very sensitive energy is Pisces. It is like the sponge of the zodiac. So Overall Cancer. Out of all 12 signs, there is one, two, three, four, five. There's only 6 or 7 of you, like half of the zodiac, that isn't going to be receiving some stress and tension and squares in some way. And you're one of them. You're one of them that won't experience the squares. Now, this is just the reading for you know the 18 years of Pluto and the next 18 months, right? The next 18 months with the north and the south nodes. So at the end of the 18 months, the nodes are going to move again, and we'll have another video to talk about that then. So this way you at least kind of understand energetically the waters in which you're navigating in, and you can see ahead of time what might be difficult, where the stress may be and the tension and who they're coming from. And then areas where you have your times of me time and escape, and yet how to stay grounded and practical and logical. That's the Virgo way. That is the Virgo way. It is grounded in reality. It looks at something that's material and tangible. It connects the dots to get the big picture. It likes daily routines and habits and being structured and clean, and its health is important. And it realizes the connection with its health, and then the connection, to the mental well-being and the emotional well-being. All right. So Cancer, that's it. I'll see you in the next one for the Leo area of your chart.